I saw you like a sign above. So follow me.
Hello! Thanks for coming back and seeing me. I'm like a little chia pet growing back now, see? And I'm not going to play that mannequin game this time because I have a really fascinating guest on the show tonight. So, hi, I'm Kendra Holliday, and this is The Beautiful Kind on iWatch Radio. And tonight I have one of my very good friends and someone I feel very thick as thieves with, David Wraith.
What's up? Throw your W's up, David Wraith.
So, David was at my head shaving last week, and I haven't really asked anyone what they thought about it. What did you think about my head shaving? Honestly, because it was weird.
Okay, honestly, I thought it was too long by about a half. I really dug the ritualistic aspects of it, but for me, coming from a filmmaking tradition, once I've absorbed all the information there is to absorb from a particular scene, it's time to move on to something else. Mm-hmm. And since there was no music and it was done in silence, I felt like 20 minutes, a half an hour of that, I'm good.
Right.
But it took about an hour for her to shave your head.
It was an hour and a half.
Wow.
I know.
Oh my God.
I know. I was... And I don't want to say anything negative at all. Kat Surf is amazing. She had to do it that certain way because she has her niche of people who really get into this sort of thing. So that was for them. But I was starting to get a little antsy towards the end. And then I thought, oh my gosh, all the people who are in the audience, I felt bad for them. It was the weirdest party ever because usually everything's very movement and colorful, and we had a wonderful playlist that we had to mute for that time that the haircut was going on so that we didn't violate any copyright laws. Right. And so it was like all of a sudden the party turned into this tomb for an hour and a half while I had my head cut off. So,
yeah, I mean, I try to look at it as like a rite, like a baptism or something like that.
Yeah.
Not as like an entertainment thing and just sort of sharing that moment with you.
That's a good point.
You know, an hour and a half long baptism, I would have probably gotten a little restless too.
Yeah. Well, I can promise you I'll never ever do it again. Now that I know what that's all about and I'm good, and so now I have to come up with new ways that involve more movement and music and so on.
Can I touch your head?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God, that's awesome.
But doesn't it feel so nice?
Yeah, I didn't want to ask at the head shaving because I know like when you first shave your head with a razor, it's really sensitive.
It is. Oh my gosh.
So I didn't want to touch it then, but as soon as it grew out, I wanted to touch it.
It felt like it was all icy hot. It felt like it was crawling off my head. It was really creepy, and then. So yeah,
I shave my head with clippers like all the time,
mm-hmm.
and the first time I shaved my head with a razor and like walked outside it was in November, I could totally tell the difference. Just the difference between having this much hair and like a razor shaved bald head.
When's the last time you shaved your head?
I mean, I shaved it today, just with clippers.
Okay.
But I haven't taken a razor to my head since last November.
Okay. Yeah. Whew, it's intense. So. So I want you to know that the Beautiful Kind website, it's been sitting for 2 weeks being very quiet and still, and it's dulling. When I look at it now, it gets dull. I just want to brighten it up and polish it and make it all new again, and so that's going to happen here in a few days, just any day now, really soon. The new website, thebeautifulkind.com, will be up with a story about my head shaving experience with pictures, with new content, and some of the old favorites will be on there too. So that's my little plug before we get into the All About David show, that we will have the new website up very soon, and wait till you see it. It's like so colorful and dynamic and great. And so, David told me that I can ask him anything, and that's just like Formspring. If I don't know who's on Twitter or who's on the internet all the time, but there's this really annoying thing called Formspring, and it says ask me anything, and they hide behind a screen and an alias so that you can ask them, do you like carrots or peas better? Have you had anal sex before? And so the neat thing about this game that we get to play with David is that he's right here.
Can I tell you a quick Formspring story before
I
start?
Yeah.
I went on to someone's Formspring page to ask them some really obnoxious questions anonymously. And before I could even ask them a question, someone else had asked this person, have you ever had sex with a black man? And they answered, no, but last week I had a dream that I had sex with David Wraith.
What?
Now, this was someone I'd never met. I was aware of this person, but we'd never met. And I go on their Formspring page basically to, like, be a not nice person. And I laughed so hard when I saw that someone had asked them that question, that they answered that they dreamed about having sex with me, that I couldn't do it. I had to just give up because I took that as a sign. And I didn't go looking for a reference to me. It was just there. So that's my Formspring experience.
Wow.
But anyway.
It's like you could feel that this person was talking about you and you just kind of came to
I
that
guess
person.
so.
And you would not like to have sex with that person?
Wow, let's move on. Okay. I said you could ask me anything, and then I punk out on the very first question. Yes, I would like to have sex with that person.
Oh. But you were going to ask obnoxious questions?
Yeah, they changed my opinion of them a little bit.
Oh, it's always nice when you find out someone's attracted to you.
Yeah, I don't know if it could have been a nightmare they were having. But anyway.
I had a dream about David the other day. I did. And I don't usually remember my dreams, but I've been having such a chaotic, weird time that the other night I dreamt that David was popping zits on my back.
Oh, yeah, you told me that. That's funny.
And it was so weird because that's just so gross. And then he was saying, don't worry, I got your back. Don't worry, I got your back. And it was so symbolic because he does. He does have my back.
I totally have her back.
You can't imagine how many people have talked terribly about me or him in the past 2 months. So I hope they're watching now and they can call in and ask questions too. But let me ask some questions first, okay? So David said that everyone can tune in to watch the show except for blood relatives and fellow church members. So if you are one of those people, if you are related to David or pray with him at his church, then turn away and go watch something else because I'm going to start getting personal here.
I think Nurse Jackie is on and the United States of Terror.
Okay, that's good. Okay, so what is this Christian thing about?
What is this Christian thing about?
You're a Christian.
Could you be a little less specific? Yes, I'm a Christian.
And do you get a lot of heat for that?
I probably get more heat for being Christian from people who are like pagan or agnostic or atheist, people in the more in the alternative communities, than I get heat for being radical weird sex person in the Christian community. But to be fair, I'm not nearly as active in the Christian community in the last couple of years as I had been before. And when I was very active in the church, I was a lot less active in the in BDSM or kink or anything like that. So I kind of compartmentalize a little bit. So I haven't really successfully integrated those things yet. I do have a meeting at church next month, so
yeah,
it'll be interesting. Any of my anyone at the church who like follows me on like Facebook or anything, it'll be interesting if they say anything. But so far, the lines haven't crossed that much.
So on Facebook, are you friends with all of your different social circles?
Oh yeah. There's for a long time I wouldn't be Facebook friends with anyone in my family. And then I stopped doing that, and I made a decision not to have any like security filters or anything of that nature, at least as far as my friends list is concerned. So everyone I'm friends with on Facebook, whether they're family or I know them from church or school or whatever, they have access to whatever I post on Facebook. There's no filter.
And you are pretty open and honest about yourself.
Yes.
Wow.
I did have one problem with someone. Someone posted a like almost naked picture of me on my Facebook wall that it ran on the RFT's website last year, and I took it down because it was on my wall. And we kind of got into an argument about it. Basically they were accusing me of being a hypocrite for being so out, but being upset that there was this naked picture of me on my wall. And the thing is, I try to respect, my family and my vanilla friends. I don't want to throw their, rub their face in what I do, even though I'm pretty honest about what I do. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a big difference between the things that I post and, which they can read or not read, and a naked picture of me, on my wall.
It's not on your terms. It's
exactly
kind of tossed up there.
And I feel like it was kind of like a little bit of a backlash for being, out that people think that they have a right to determine how out you are. It's not, you still don't have a right to privacy.
Right. So if you're out, you're a fair game. Okay. So what's it like being an enigma?
I don't try to be an enigma. I think I'm trying to be less and less enigmatic as time goes on. And I think that my online presence and my blog and the things I write for the Sex Positive St. Louis website and my Twitter feed, I think that, I mean, in ways I'm sure it makes me more enigmatic, but it's also, I think, less so because I share a lot of really personal things that
Yes.
people are kind of surprised by. So, I mean, I think I simultaneously kind of build the David Wraith myth and then simultaneously like, tear it down at the same time. So it's kind of strange.
Yeah. And so David Wraith, how long has he been around?
David Wraith probably started in my early 20s. I had like weird delusions of being some type of graffiti artist as a teenager, and my tag was Angel of Death, which sounds really cool when you're 17 and really lame about a year and a half later. And so I wanted to make up a name that had the same kind of ominous qualities but had a lot fewer syllables and was a little less on the nose. I'm 17 and I'm angry at my father. So Angel of Death became Wraith. And Wraith was taken on, I couldn't get, Wraith at yahoo.com. So I put David in front of it. And people started thinking, Wraith was my nickname, but people started thinking that it was my last name. And so that's how the whole David Wraith thing kind of stuck. Wow. And I'm always like the least popular David anywhere where there's another David. So it's kind of useful to have a name that can be a last name or a nickname, because I was so used to people saying, "Hey, David," and I go, "What?" And I go, "Not you." But now they can say Wraith or David Wraith to distinguish me from whatever other David might be present.
Oh, okay. I think you're getting more popular.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that through my internet presence and definitely through my involvement with Sex Positive St. Louis, there's a lot of people who know who David Wraith is now that didn't know a year ago.
Are you a local celebrity?
I prefer the term ghetto superstar.
And do people know you in Boston?
Yes. Yeah, I get a lot of Boston love. I was in Boston for the first time a couple months ago, and I got a lot of love out there. I think there might be some Bostonians watching tonight. Jay, if you're watching.
I feel like...
And Tori and Bendy, if you guys are watching, which you're probably not.
Oh, I saw that she was just at ShibariCon
Yeah.
at Bendy, and I
Yeah.
heard she did some really cruel and unusual things to people, like made them do yoga stretches with bruises or something.
Yeah, I have taken the AM yoga for kinksters. It's definitely I went to the 24-hour yoga at Marbles on New Year's Eve, and there were like people in tutus and who'd come straight from New Year's Eve parties. And I have to say that Bindi Yoga Girls Yoga for Kinksters is without a doubt the strangest yoga class I have ever taken.
Hey, I keep seeing that the phone icon is on, but I don't hear anything, so I'd like to take the call, but I'm not sure if I can hear it. So if there's a call, say hello. Okay. I'm sorry. If someone's trying to call in... Oh, okay. Thank you. All right. So where did you come from?
Where did I come from?
Yes.
My mother.
Yes?
I was born and raised in St. Louis. I lived in North St. Louis most of my life, and then I moved to South City 11 years ago, and I don't know, probably about 10 years ago, and I absolutely love South St. Louis.
I'm always going to South St. Louis every day, it seems like. It's like the kinky armpit that Gravois and stuff.
Yeah, it's what's happening. I can go weeks without being more than a mile from my apartment.
Must be nice.
I love it. I love that neighborhood to death.
Where are your favorite haunts? Wraith.
My favorite haunts, pretty much any night of the week. If I'm not at my apartment, I'm either